Are you ready to chirp your way into the future of the Internet of Things? Today, we chat with the CEO of Chirp Wireless to discuss how making IoT deployments is easy as flipping a switch. They're making outdoor geopositioning without GPS a thing, thanks to some tech magic. Chirp's plug-and-play solutions allow you to track all the IoT things, except Apple. Those closed ecosystem dorks. Tune in, find out how this wireless wonder is helping businesses automate and thrive on this sponsored Crypto Spotlight, episode number 745 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Once again, it's the Bad Crypto Podcast, all up in your ass. Wait, that's not where it goes. It goes in their ears. Sorry if any of you were violated there. That's not where.
No, we need to mount it. We got to mount it up on the roof.
Foreshadowing.
Trying to mount it. Yeah.
Welcome to the
If your name is
show.
Laura, we apologize in advance.
Yeah, if your name is Laura, and if it's Karen, we don't apologize. If you're Karen, sucks to be you. Like,
Hey, I know some great Karens out there, though.
I know, but can you imagine, living with being a Karen in this day and age where it's just got such a
I'll probably drop the N and be Carrie.
And there are many projects that want to appear on this illustrious Bad Podcast here at the Republic.
One of the longest running in the crypto space now. I think only Unchained has been going longer than us now.
How about Pomp? Hasn't he been?
Nope. He was later than us.
We're older than you, Pomp. Suck it.
Get off our damn lawn.
Maybe Pete McCormick, what Bitcoin did.
Nope, that was November 2017.
Wow. So, and we've never given up on you guys. We're like the Rick Astley of your life. We never give you up. We like to Rickroll you, and we enjoy getting messages from various projects. And to the vast majority of them, we say, nope, don't think so, not a fit. But when there's one that is a fit and they want us to focus on their project rather than just a broader conversation in crypto, then we say, okay, we'll have you on, but you're going to have to pay. This is a sponsored Crypto Spotlight episode. That means we are being compensated to host the guest on today's show. Full disclosure, as we have always given since the beginning of time. And for us, that's July 18th, 2017. So, Trav, you want to tell us a little bit about what we're about to hear?
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yeah,
it's IoT plus crypto plus DePin, which is decentralized physical infrastructure. Here we go.
We do love those practical applications for blockchain, real world use. I almost feel like I should be dropping rhymes there, Trav. Blockchain, real world use, applications, use case studies.
Your own little version of your own slam poetry here.
Yeah, I just slammed the heck out of that right.
That was nice. Dude, you dropped that like it was hot, like it was on fire.
I kind of dropped it like it was barely lukewarm, but that's okay. Because I'm not the star of the show. Instead, we're going to put the spotlight on Tim Kravtronovsky. I think I got it right the first time.
You got it right.
Excellent. Tim has extensive experience as a telecommunications network engineer, having held positions at World Bank, Comcast, and Chamonix International. He is a passionate advocate of people power, and he founded a company called Chirp in October 2021 to connect the world through groundbreaking, accessible technology that's got the potential to transform the way we connect, do business, and power a sustainable future. Tim, welcome, good sir, to the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the kind words.
Absolutely. We're really glad to have you here. And what I want to do to get started once I find my screen, because I have too many things open on my laptop. I'm actually traveling right now, and it makes it a little more interesting, a little more challenging to record. But I have located it. Here it is. The website for the project is chirptoken.io, harnessing the power of DePin to be your global IoT and mobile provider, aiming to connect the largest amount of data with blockchain. This seems familiar. I believe we've seen projects that have attempted some similar IoT things. So tell us what is Chirp and how is it different from what we may have seen before?
Yeah, yes and no. So, unfortunately, like when somebody sees IoT and a blockchain, they immediately think of our predecessors, but we're very, very different. So essentially, the project was born when, so we come from the IoT and IT background, and we see how fractioned the space is. Literally, the IoT industry was a $200 billion industry last year. When we did our research a couple of years ago, we struggled to find just a handful of companies that make $100 million. So where's this $200 billion out there? It's all scattered amongst those very, very small companies. And the biggest problem in IoT is that the space is extremely fragmented, and all of the manufacturers, they produce the devices, and they produce them in a very closed mannered fashion where they have a device that communicates with their proprietary app. And essentially, this just creates this fraction space where devices from different manufacturers, they talk different languages, they communicate over different frequencies, and they do not see each other and they cannot communicate with each other. So this is how Chirp was born. Yes, we do have miners that are similar to other projects that came before Chirp, but it's essentially some of those projects, they just work on only one radio technology. And what our goal is to create a network and a platform that unites different types of devices that use different radio technologies and that are from different manufacturers. And we want to create this network and an ecosystem to let them talk to each other.
No, that's fascinating. So I'm curious, like, what inspired you to start this project? Was it something that maybe where you were at World Bank or Comcast and you just saw the need for this? Because this seems to be a big undertaking you're going on this thing.
It's essentially, it was a real life story. My parents have a house, and that house during the winter time there was a power outage, and it froze. It froze very quickly in a matter of hours. All of the pipes bursted. All of the heating, everything had to be replaced. It was a very expensive repair that I had to do. So, and then after the remodeling was done, I faced this dilemma, like how do I prevent this from happening in the future? And I started installing a couple of IoT devices, and I saw how difficult it was for a regular person to install those devices. Me having a technical background, it was already something very difficult, and different manufacturers, different radio technologies. You had to have a hub for almost every manufacturer. This is how the idea was born, like how can we make this better? And there were a couple of projects because, essentially decentralized wireless was taking off on the blockchain, and we saw that it was a successful model. I mean, Helium did a great job expanding their network globally. But it's working only on LoRaWAN. And, our idea was, how can we make this better, and how can we make it easier for all of the clients, and how can we have all of those devices talk to each other and to the internet and to the blockchain?
Yeah, I think you threw out some terminology somebody might not know. You said it only works on LoRaWAN. What is LoRaWAN? What are those layers so people maybe understand that?
So like essentially, it's a wireless protocol, and all of the devices, they use some kind of wireless protocol to communicate with each other and with the internet. And almost everybody heard of Bluetooth. Like Bluetooth is another wireless protocol that connects a device with another device or with the internet. And the best example is, you're using your headphones and you pair them with your phone. But each one of those radio technologies, they have their pluses and minuses. There's no universal protocol. So for example, a great example of this is Bluetooth. You pair your headphones. It can transmit a lot of data, but over very short distances. And you see it, like when you go to another room in your house, you see that the signal is starting to fade and starting to break up. And those are the types of differences. That's why different radio protocols are being used, So for phone and headphones, Bluetooth makes the most sense. So for example, LoRaWAN is a low power device, low power protocol. So for example, like all of the devices, they are in dormant mode, and then they wake up, they send the signal in a very small package. So like LoRaWAN can transmit over very large distances, but very, very small packets. It's just physics. But those devices will last for years. Like some LoRaWAN devices can last up to 10 years. So those are the different technologies. And there's about maybe 15 different radio technologies that are being used for different use cases.
Okay, well, let's take a closer look at yours here. The Chirp network, the device is, you got two devices actually, a Blackbird and the other one, which I'm trying to get to pull up here.
You actually don't need to pull up another one. We're remaking the website right now. So the Blackbird, this is the old version. So the actual Blackbird looks like this. So this is the antenna, and it has.
Give us a full 360 on that. Let me see. Yeah, there we go.
So it's an outdoor telecom grade antenna.
Okay.
So and essentially the way it works is, our community buys those antennas, and they already have internet in their house. They already have electricity in their house. They don't need to get permission to mount it anywhere. And it's essentially by mounting this antenna, you're starting to provide different frequencies and different radio protocols. You're starting to provide coverage. And for providing this coverage, you get rewarded with Chirp token.
When you say they have internet, you're saying they have the internet you're providing.
No. So this device is for IoT, so for Internet of Things. It creates a radio signal, radio network over which different devices communicate. So a device connects to this antenna via a radio frequency, but this antenna needs to be connected to the internet, and it relays over the internet that signal that it received over the radio waves. And then it gets displayed on our dashboard, or it could be displayed on an application that somebody else is building.
Okay, and how far is that radius?
It depends on the technology. We have multiple radios in there. So one of the radios in there is LoRaWAN, which is a low power protocol, and essentially it works in line of sight. The world record for LoRa protocol is 1,300 kilometers. So it's huge.
I know about LoRa. Just don't go to your wife and say, I just mounted LoRa on the back of my house. She's going to be like, you did what? So talk to me like I'm stupid, because I am. Couldn't help myself. So explain to me why somebody would put this device on their home, who benefits from it, both either themselves or others.
So it's essentially by placing this antenna on your house, you're providing the coverage for yourself, but it also has long range radios in there. So you're essentially providing a network coverage to your neighborhood as well. So your neighbors, without going through the hassle of getting those hubs and connecting the devices, they just go on the internet. They buy any compatible IoT device, and they register it on our network. And essentially, the way it works, it gets signal from outdoors, just like your cell phone does. When you're talking on your cell phone, you're at your house, you're getting signal from the outside. You sit down in your car, you drive off, your call continues. And this is essentially what we're doing. We're building this global network where devices could connect outdoors. And essentially, if you live on a large property in Kansas and you have, I don't know, like a barn somewhere a mile away from your house, you can just put different types of sensors in there. I don't know if you want to monitor the animals, or if you want to monitor if somebody goes into that barn, breaks in, if there's any movement in there, if somebody opens the door. You don't need to have electricity in there. You don't need to have internet in there. You just buy a device, you mount it to a door, and it works through this global network.
That's right.
And it's essentially, this is how we combine all of those different technologies. So you're able to automate your house, but also you're giving this opportunity to your neighbors to do the same. Or businesses. So we're not residential. I'm just, you know, like using some residential examples in here, but this could very well be used in a factory environment, for example.
So for example, I'm thinking this as a residential thing. Like my kids, they got a cat that's really pesky that likes to leave. You don't know where the hell the cat is. Yeah, my dog, if my dog ever get outside without me, the dog's gonna run away because she's looking for her puppies that she had when she was in Puerto Rico before I even got her. She's gonna be gone. So it's almost like having something like this. You could almost put an Internet of Things sort of a tag on it and then track them within X amount of distance around. You could pinpoint your animal pretty quickly.
Exactly. So when you said, you know, like put a tag on your dog, it's essentially there's another device that uses different radio technology and from a different manufacturer. This is a perfect example. It's an AirTag from Apple. An AirTag, it's a very closed device that works only on the Apple ecosystem. And this is exactly what's happening in the entire IoT space. It's very fragmented, in that Apple AirTag cannot communicate with my cameras, for example, or, you know, like it cannot communicate with other devices. So this is a perfect example. But you know, like a lot of people might ask, you know, well, there is an AirTag, you know, like why do I need other technologies? And there's like I said, there's no universal protocol, and there's a use case for every single one of them. So, for example, the AirTag, it works only if there's an iPhone in the vicinity. So it's the AirTag. It actually uses BLE, Bluetooth, and it sends the signal over very short distance. So maybe, you know, like 50 meters at most. If you're somewhere in the field and you lose your dog somewhere in the field, or you lose your keys somewhere in the field, the chances are that an iPhone is going to be somewhere in the area are slim to none, and you will never find your device. But on the contrary, there's another device that uses LoRaWAN technology. It's also very small, but this sends the signal over very large distances. So actually, with this device, we connected to one of our antennas from 11 kilometers away. So this is exactly what you're doing when you're placing that antenna on your house. You're giving this opportunity to use other technologies besides the AirTag. Besides Bluetooth, you can use, you know, like other technologies. And essentially, you can find your device pretty much anywhere, provided that there's a signal in there. But our network is going to be doing roaming agreements with other telco companies. It's very common in telecommunications industry. For example, you know, like if you're using Verizon, you go to another state, Verizon doesn't have an antenna in there. You will connect through AT&T's antenna. You will just never know it. And essentially, we're going to be doing roaming agreements as well with other companies. So our clients will never know that their devices will just work on the outside.
Very cool. So there's a lot of moving parts here, and not only on Chirp token.io, and I want to talk about the token, but we're also going to reference another site. We're not going to go into it deep now, but you guys can check in the show notes, chirpwireless.io, that you've created a front-facing Internet of Things website that really doesn't have a blockchain focus, right? So that it doesn't.
It's essentially it's the same services, but because it's essentially we're linking Web 2 with Web 3. We decided to separate it, and under chirptoken.io, we are telling everybody who is interested in participating in this from the crypto perspective, you buy the antenna, you mount it, you get rewarded. This is what Chirp Token is about. And Chirp Wireless is more client oriented. It just showcases different abilities, what you can do on Chirp, what type of devices you can connect, what are the possibilities. And this is essentially, like how Chirp is connecting Web 2 and Web 3 worlds. Chirp is an excellent example of Web 3 being used kind of like as underneath the hood. It's behind the scenes. So
It's beautiful. So, and on that website, it shows all these other sort of different IoT devices and smart things and different things that you can connect to the network. I always hate how Apple does that shit where they just say, "Oh, this is only works with Apple." And I'm like, dude, there's so many other things that could make this more extensible if you only participated in the game with everybody else. You silly
exactly.
closed-minded people.
It's essentially we think that this fragmented space it started with Apple. Remember when Apple had a proprietary cable that would charge only the iPhones,
Yeah.
and then they got sued over this. Being a global company, they got sued, and now they're required to use a Type C USB charging cable. But all of the other folks they started mimicking this, and they're like, well, like if Apple is doing this, let's do the same thing, and we're going to lock in the clients to use our products. So now Apple is forced to in some areas to go away from that model, but like all of the smaller guys, they're not in a hurry to follow and open this up. And essentially, this is where Chirp comes in because like we're connecting all of those devices. And essentially erasing barriers between the different radio protocols and manufacturers.
Well, and like many blockchain-based projects, there is a token involved here. There's incentive for people to have a miner. So tell us what the Chirp token is and how that works.
So it's essentially Chirp token is the backbone of our project. It rewards people for providing the network coverage. Also, we have a game coming out in the near future. It's probably going to be sometime next week. This game, it's going to be a first DePin game. So DePin stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure, where the community is doing something. And essentially this game will be a first game that will create a geolocation database through the community. Essentially, right now, Google and other corporations, they use your phone to collect data about different radio signals in the area without you possibly even knowing it.
Bastards. That's not all they're collecting.
Exactly, right. But this service they actually offer, and if you go and you type in Google geolocation API, this is exactly how they make money off of the data that they collect with your phones. So what we're doing is we're releasing this game where the community is playing. The community will scan the environments, but we're involving the community where community will get rewarded for this data that they're feeding to Chirp. Essentially, the token will reward the antennas, and it will reward the game participants. And when we sell those services, so for example, when we sell the database as an API, as a geolocation API, what is happening is with that revenue, we buy back the token and on open market, and essentially it reduces the supply of the token. And this is how we power the entire ecosystem. So yeah, you've seen those games right now, like that offer tokens to all of the players, but there's nothing but hype behind this. And here, you are actually doing something tangible. You're building this database that will be sold, and you're essentially becoming part of the telecom industry, where you are participating. And you are not letting those big guys, big players profit from you, but you are creating your own database and you are making money off of this.
It's really fascinating, and I wanted just to give folks a heads up. If you go look on CoinMarketCap or on CoinGecko, it is not listed on there yet. So you having a TGE, a token generation event coming up here soon? Because I know that you can see Chirp, so don't get fooled by Chirply or any of these other ones, because that's not it. I do see that Chirp is on CoinMarketCap, but there's nothing being tracked on it yet. So maybe what is the forward motion of this look like as we get into the bull run?
So it's essentially next week we're going to be releasing the game, and this game hopefully will bring a lot of eyes onto a project. It's a first DePin game with real world utility, where all of the actions are being backed up by something. So we anticipate a lot of interest in the game, and it's coming
game?
out right before TV.
What can you tell us about?
So this is the game that we're releasing. What I was telling you about, where you scan the environment. Okay. So it's it's gonna get released next week. And anybody who is interested, just go to our Twitter. So I think our handle on Twitter is Chirp Wireless, if I'm not mistaken.
I see. I just saw it. It's Chirp DY. DEWI. Yeah.
Yeah. DY stands for decentralized wireless. So
Very
Chirp
nice.
DY.
Are we gonna be able to scan the area and see like virtual zombies or something and shoot them, or what happens?
So like essentially, the first iteration of the game is walk, scan, and earn. You're walking around the communities, you're finding those networks, and you're earning tokens just by walking around, by walking your dog, by driving to another city. And we're going to be adding gaming elements throughout. So it's gonna be exciting, because nothing like this was made before. So
you got actually real world ability to walk around, earn some tokens, participate in the decentralized physical infrastructure space that is DePin, play a game, earn some tokens, have an opportunity to make it better. So let's go back to the situation with your mom and dad in the house. So if this invention had been invented then, how would that scenario have been different?
So it's essentially it would just continue. Right now we're kind of starting the new era of IoT. The autonomous driving is being developed, but it's in its very infant stages. There's a handful of companies testing their autonomous cars here and there, but we don't see them all around. Smart cities, also, it's going to be very, very big, but it still hasn't taken off. And essentially, the IoT ecosystem is not prepared, it's not ripe for those industries to really take off. And this is where Chirp comes in. Chirp is fixing this broken infraction space and letting you connect all of those devices, preparing us for the future with all of those devices that we're going to see in the near future. essentially anywhere.
Very cool. Last question for you, good sir. If somebody wants to get involved, obviously there's information at chirptoken.io, but what kind of investment is somebody looking at to be able to get the device that they can begin
So once again, we have two ways to earn Chirp. No barrier to entry is with your phone. You download the game, you scan the environments, you build this geolocation database, and you earn Chirp token with that. Obviously, it's not going to be as much as with the antenna that costs $900, but you buy the antenna, you mount it on your house, and your rewards are going to be a lot higher than with a phone. So, but with a phone, another interesting thing, like a lot of people don't think about this, but why are we doing this database? Why is it needed? Just think about this. We have been using geolocation and GPS services and navigation for some 25 years already, right? But when you go into a shopping center, you go indoors, your GPS signal disappears, and you're kind of like moved back in time into 1980s, where you take out a paper map and you find your way around using a paper map. So we're doing this database to put an end to this, and essentially by using this database, other projects, they can build indoor wayfinding apps. So for example, if you have a grocery list and you have onions on that grocery list, it will take you to that store where food is sold, and it will take you to the exact shelf where onions are.
That'd be huge for the gig economy, or those people who are doing Instacart, Joel, and stuff like that.
Right.
I love that. I got one final question. I know Joel had his final question. My final question is to you: is that what do you want listeners of Bad Crypto to do, and what you might want them to know about Chirp that we haven't covered yet?
So anything that Chirp does is essentially with real world utility. So we have seen Hamster Combat, we have seen other games where you're essentially gambling and you're riding this hype wave.
They're not really games. They're not really games.
Well, if you look at it, like the first iteration of our game is not going to be also a game. Like it's walk, scan, and earn.
It's gamified.
It's gamified. Correct. So it's not like you're sitting in one place and you have like a character that you play with. It's not the typical game. Let's put it that way.
You're the character, Joel. You walk around and you do stuff.
I'm the NPC.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but in the future, we will be adding with each release, we will be adding more and more gamified elements. So like we're actually thinking about creating the two alliances, and they're going to be fighting against each other for the hexagons and for this data on the map. So those are the ideas that we're exploring. So we're going to make it exciting. But for anybody who follows crypto, like DePin is a very hot narrative, SWI is a very hot narrative, which, by the way, we are building on SWI, and we're launching our token on SWI blockchain, and we're backed by the Miston team.
SUI?
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
SUI?
Yeah, SUI.
I've never heard. I always call SUI, like I'm Johnny Cash singing the song.
It's actually pronounced Sui, but a lot of guys pronounce Sui. So yeah,
that's good. No, I like that. Just a little clarification there. And then people should follow you on Twitter. Go check out HTTPS chirptoken.io. Take a look at that. Go ahead and look at their Twitter. Chirp DYDEWI. Check out there. Anything else?
That's it, and just keep an eye out on the game. It's going to be a first game of its kind where it's backed by real world utility, and then our TGE is going to be hopefully at the end of this month. We'll see how the markets are. So
excellent.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
LFG. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you coming on. Well, as a matter of time, Twitter is dead, so somebody's got to pick up the bird. And these guys here at Chirp have done that. Of course, Twitter's not really dead. It's just X now, and actually doing better than ever is my understanding. The number of page views that X is getting is off the charts. And it
But
is,
people still call it Twitter, and you still
yeah,
call them tweets. You don't call them X's because
yeah,
all my exes live in Texas.
yeah. And Texas is the place I really long to be, et
Right.
cetera, et
Oh, man.
cetera.
There we go. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This right here was a fun one. I think this is something really, really interesting to keep an eye on. I love when blockchain is doing real world stuff and connecting the real world infrastructure and doing things like this. IoT plus all the things is fascinating. He was talking about smart cities. And so this right here is kind of the foundation for that future that we'll see probably in the next 5 to 10 years, and you get to start it now.
For sure. And you want to check out this game, so make sure you do go to their website so you can get information on how to download that on your phone and play and learn more about how you can mount Laura, because apparently she's available.
Yeah. Well, if you mount Laura, that means you're definitely staying back.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.